Hello and welcome. You're watching another one of Michaela Silverthorne's stories, or maybe your first one. And I want to start off this video by explaining that this is a dark story. This is not a happy story, right? So if you are under 18, or if you are not in the space to be handling a heavy story, please do not watch this. Now, there are deep lessons that I learned in this story. This is a real life story of mine. And part of why I want to share it is because this is one of the most important lessons I've learned in my life so far. Now, I am 24 right now, and this story is the story of my 21st birthday. Now, I know when people think of a 21st birthday, they think of partying and drinking and throwing up at the end of the night and being like, oh gosh, I went way too far, right? And that's not my story. Okay. So it starts off with me just trying to get people to celebrate my 21st birthday with me. And nobody would come. And it made me feel like really hurt inside that nobody was willing to celebrate this day that I had been so excited about for years. Thankfully, my brother was there for me. He's a loyal person. And so he took me out to get drinks. Problem is that I didn't get my ID in time, and so I can't even buy drinks either. I can't buy drinks, no one's showing up, and here I am with my 21st birthday being an entire disaster, frankly. But I had made some edibles, and I worked at a restaurant, so I went to the restaurant, and my boss knew how old I was. And she was like, yeah, you can have the rest of the plum wine, that's fine. So she was very kind to me, and that was really the only kindness I had that night. So I took my edible, drank some plum wine, and sweet, and I drank plenty of it. I'm pretty sure I finished the bottle, if I remember correctly. It was like this big bottle that would pour out of just the end of the wine. And then after that, we went to the bowling alley. You know, a place people get drinks quite often. And I want people to understand, I am terrible at bowling, right? Like, I suck at bowling. I never want to go bowling because I'm like, every time I do that, I am the worst person there at it. You could put me up against a 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old will do better than me, right? So me and my brother are going bowling at the cheap bowling alley. And I think at some point he invites his friend to come with us. And I can't remember if his friend actually showed up or not. I don't know. I was drunk. Well, anyways, he is willing to buy me another shot, right? So he buys me like this coconut vodka shot, and it was delicious. Okay, I'm definitely a fruity drinker, so I like my fruity stuff, and I will just down it like it's nothing. And so I'm like, okay, I want to get another one. He's like, no, I'm cutting you off. I am your brother, and I am not dealing with this. Well, we're bowling, and somehow I am winning. Apparently, when I'm drunk, I'm good at bowling. But any other time, I suck at it. So I'm here, I'm like drunk and high at the same time. I'm totally out of it. And I'm beating my brother at bowling. And I'm not doing bad either. Like, I'm not doing fantastic. But I think it was the first time I've ever beat him at bowling. Now, here comes my mistake this night. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling lonely. So what did I do? I went online, heavily intoxicated, and I found some random person on Grindr of all places to come and pick me up from the bowling alley. Now keep in mind, my brother drove me there, so if I go off with this person, how am I getting back home? I'm too drunk to care. I'm just sad and depressed. And either I do some crazy stupid shit to avoid my emotions, like I always did at the time, or I face my emotions and start bawling my eyes out in the middle of a bowling alley. And I was like, I'm gonna avoid those emotions. So that's exactly what I did. I ran away from all my feelings. And I just was like, I'm not gonna feel sad tonight. So what if nothing worked out? So what if this is like the worst birthday ever? I have a Nash, uh, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's a trend in my life that every birthday of mine seems to go terribly wrong in some way. And at this point, I've just stopped trying to like make them good. I'm like, you know what? When it comes around, I pretend like nothing is going to happen that day. Like it's just a normal day. I wasn't born this day. Nope. Nope, it's just a regular Tuesday. Nope. And part of why I'm doing that is because of this day, right? My 21st birthday. So me and my brother leave the bowling alley, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go like with this friend of mine. We're gonna go somewhere else. And my brother knows that everything about this situation is a red flag. No, you should not go. And he does try to convince me. He's like, are you sure that you don't want me to just drive you home? Like, you're pretty wasted. And I was like, I am fine. There is no point in trying to argue with drunk me. Drunk me will not listen. Drunk me does whatever she wants. It's dangerous when I'm drunk. Very dangerous. I have no inhibitions, and I'm crazy. I would walk across a frozen lake while drunk. I would do anything. I think I can do anything when I'm drunk. I'm that type of drunk, where I'm like, I'm happy and giddy, except for when I'm bawling my eyes out. And I feel like I am king of the world. And here I am doing such a stupid thing. So I get in this random person's car. My brother could not talk me out of it. And after I get in his car, me and this person drive off and leave, go in the opposite direction from where I live. Probably about a 30-minute drive away from my house at the time. And I'm drunk. I don't even know where we are, right? It's dark out. I'm drunk. Got no idea where we are, where we're going. We pass the lake, and that's it. That's all I know. After that, we're in some neighborhood. I don't know what neighborhood. I don't even know where he's taking me. And he's like trying to talk to me in the car, being like, you're good with all this, right? Mm-hmm. And I find out later that this man is like 40 years old. Okay? He's not young. I'm too drunk to notice how old he is, but I remember him mentioning it at some point in the night. Like, this was not a young man. He wasn't like super old, but it's like, it's kind of pushing some lines there. Anyways, we get to this house. I'm assuming it's his house, and his wife's gonna be there, right? I think it was like supposed to be some sort of group sex thing. What I wasn't expecting was to be taken to a sex house. Okay? This man took me to a sex house without explaining that ahead of time. And so, when we get there, there's another person waiting there. And at this time, I had been identifying as a trans man, right? Born female, I'd masculinized myself to be presenting as a man. And I look like a little boy, basically. Well, there's the other person waiting there is a trans woman. Somebody who was born male and has feminized themselves to look like a woman, right? They look very much like a woman. But I know that they have like a male anatomy. And so he's explaining this, and he's like, you two will get along great. And I could tell by looking at this person, they hate me already. I haven't even talked to them, and they don't like me. Don't know why, don't know what's going on, but this person does not like me. Well, anyways, they take me into the house, and we all go into this crawl space basement, and there is a sex swing and a naked mattress, and instantly fear triggers me. It's like, this is a bad place. I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here. I want to leave. But then I get to thinking, I'm so fucking wasted. I can't leave. I don't even know where I am. Where would I go? What would these people try to do to me if I leave? And so I'm like freaking out. I'm paranoid. And I'm like, okay, we'll just like get this over with and leave. Like, I'm just gonna like play nice and innocent. But that was the moment that I realized, like, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here. And I felt powerless. I felt like I couldn't get out of this situation no matter what I did. And so, I'm just like, all right, I'll try to make the best out of this situation. The guy comes and goes so many times, and eventually he comes back one of the times with this and he closes the door, and it's just like the three of us in this tiny crawl space basement packed with stuff. And they pull out like this giant water bong, and they start smoking something. And whatever it is not weed. I don't know what it's smoking, but I want nothing to do with it. And because I'm curious, and I understand substances better than most people my age would, I ask, I'm like, what are you smoking? And they go, oh, don't worry, it's not cocaine. It's not cocaine. And it's a white powder, right? They're like, it's just a research drug. And to me, I'm over here like, I know what research drugs are. And frankly, a lot of research drugs are worse than cocaine. And eventually, I come to realize they want me to get addicted to this, whatever it is. They want me to be reliant on them, so I keep paying them for it. I come to realize that is what this whole situation was really about. But one thing they forgot to count on was that I was already totally wasted. I'm like, they offer me some, and I'm like, no, I'm so fucking high right now, I can't. Like, I don't need anything. I'm already seeing stars here, right? Which, to be fair, I could have upped it a little. I wasn't at my complete limit, but I knew, even drunk and high, I knew better than to touch whatever the fuck they were doing. Right? I wanted nothing to do with that. Nothing. And then eventually they finish doing their drugs, and the guy leaves again, and I'm still just here on this like naked mattress by myself while this trans woman is sitting in a chair just like watching me like angrily. It looks like a very upset, very like scary person, frankly. There are trans women who are really sweet and gentle and soft, and then there's the trans women who look like they want to murder somebody. This was one of the murdering types. And so then the next time the guy comes back, he is ready to go. And again, I feel like I can't say no in this situation. I'm scared to say no in this situation. So for what was probably about like a minute, I had condom sex with him. Which, I mean, at least he used a condom. At least there was that. He wasn't completely heartless. Just almost completely heartless. And then he just leaves again. Like, it was such a like short moment, and then he just takes off. And the whole time, it's just really, really weird. Everything that's going on is super not normal. Eventually, I see someone coming down the stairs, and this person is not 40 years old. No. This person's gotta be at least 70 something. And this sends my fear all the way up to my head. Every ounce of me is terrified. And I'm convinced that I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I will not do this. Not willingly. And so I just lay there and pretend like I'm about to fall asleep. I am tired from the weeds, so it doesn't really take that much to like fake it, really. Part of me does want to sleep, but I have so much fear adrenaline running through my system that I can't fall asleep for the life of me. And I'm just trying to fall asleep. I'm like, I don't want to witness this event. I'm convinced that I'm going to be raped, like full on raped. And I cannot deal with it. I'm trying to just make myself fall asleep and it doesn't happen. And meanwhile, I can hear them insulting me, calling me names, talking about how I must be faking it. And eventually the guy comes back who had brought me here. And he ends up just taking everyone else upstairs, thankfully. Thankfully, again, he's not completely heartless, just mostly heartless. And I had made it clear in the car that I wasn't okay with there being like a person that much older than me at this, like in this event, right? It wasn't something I was willing to do. But again, the guy just kind of ignored that until the moment came and then was like, oh, I guess we should just go upstairs. Turns out the older man was the one who owns this place. So he was just going to be involved in whatever sex event was happening that night. Because he owned the sex house. Anyways, they all leave, turn off the lights. I think the guy came back with a blanket, even. And they just leave me there. And I think to myself, like, I can't stay here. Like, I gotta get out of here. There's, like, drugs, like, whirling around in this room from whatever they were smoking. And I'm in, like, a sex house of who knows who with this scary trans woman. Not a normal trans woman, like, terrifying. Like, again, she looked like she could murder somebody. This person. Felt really uncomfortable with them. And I've met trans women who don't feel like that, right? Again, there are bad people no matter how you divide the world. There are bad people in every category. Every race, every sex, every gender, whatever you want to call it. There's bad people in everything. And so while I'm in this basement, I decide, like, I can't stay down here. I can't do this. And my pants are not on. I think I am completely naked at this point. And so what do? I find my boxy, baggy underwear that's for men, so it's really big on me. Like, I'm 5 feet tall, by the way. I'm tiny, even for a woman. And so I put on these boxers, right? And I just go up the stairs wearing nothing but boxers. Like, I'm in a sex house and I'm drunk. I don't give a fuck, right? These people have already seen me naked and already insulted me in lots of ways. And so, what do I have to lose at this point? I go up there and I need to pee so bad. So I instantly find the bathroom. The bathroom's all clean and nice, and I'm shocked. I'm like, I expect this sex house to look disgusting and dirty. But this place is very clean, very well kept. So I will give him that. So after dealing with that, I get out of the bathroom and I start just looking around to see, like, where they go. I don't want to be wherever they are, but I want to know where they are. And so I can tell that they're upstairs, and I'm not going upstairs. I'm just on the main floor, wondering, like, okay, what should I do with myself? How do I get myself out of this situation? I tried texting people to see if, like, anyone was available. But it's gotta be, like, 1 a.m. at this point. Like, people are asleep. And again, I come to realize I have no real friends. Nobody was there for me. Nobody cared about me. Every friend I had was fake. They were fake. And that was the lesson I was learning this night was that all the people around me were just around me for face value. None of them cared about my well-being when it really mattered. And you know what? I would sacrifice myself for any of them. They wouldn't do the same for me. So it made me realize, like, I'm completely friendless. I don't have any friends, not any real friends. And all these people that I've been associating myself with, they're out the door. They're gone. They're out of my life. This big, nasty event in my life really brought that clarity in. But anyways, I'm still at the sex house. I'm still drunk. I'm still wandering around in my underwear. Some guy who was working on his car in the garage comes in, sees me, and is like, "Oh no, you gotta be careful. The owner of this house does not like people stealing from him." Okay? And I was like, I'm in my underwear. Where would I hide anything? How would I steal from somebody? I don't even have pockets to put shit in. Okay? I don't even have a shirt on. I'm literally here in my underwear. Nothing else. Loose, baggy boxer shorts that are insanely big on me. There's nowhere to hide anything. But anyways, this guy goes and he finds the owner of the house. And the owner of the house comes down. He's like watching me. I can tell he's very possessive. Like, and he basically kind of threatens me of like, you know, people have stolen me from me in the past, and I have video cameras everywhere. Like, do not try to steal from me, right? And he's like, you stay right where you are, okay? Don't be going anywhere. And I was like, I'm drunk, and I think to myself, well, I've already wandered around the house, and he's going to see in the video camera. So I just tell him, like, I already did. I already walked around the house. And he gets mad. He gets very mad. And he's like, he's not going to go back upstairs now. He's going to stay right with me. He doesn't want me alone in the house anymore. He's not okay with it. But they had a pizza cooking in the oven, so they offered me some pizza that had meat on it. Ugh. I didn't eat meat at the time, so I was like, I think I even just scraped it off and was like, I'm just gonna take it so that you guys think that I'm friendly or something. I don't know. I felt like they were the kind of people where they get easily offended. But then it gets to the point where, so they're finished with their whole event upstairs, and this guy is upset at me for being in this house and not participating in their nasty event. Frankly, I wanted nothing to do with that. You know, I think group sex kind of sounds great on when people talk about it, but then actually doing it is another thing, right? 20-year-old me was like, yeah, that could sound like a fun thing. I get put in a situation, I'm like, never mind, this sounds terrible. I want nothing to do with this. Why would people want to have sex with more than one person at once? I don't understand it anymore. I really don't. One person is enough for me. And 3 nasty people at once? No. Okay, so I was brought back upstairs, or I was then brought up the stairs to where the other 2 were. And then they're watching this disgusting porn, right? You know, there's like normal porn, and then there's the old porn that's just like really disgusting, gross stuff. The quality is bad, and it's just like weird. It's really weird. And I'm like revolted by it. Like, I don't know what the heck they're watching, but I cannot put my eyes on that screen. It's nasty. I'm like, I bet they were doing nasty shit up here when I wasn't up here. Thank goodness the falling asleep trick worked. I am very thankful for that. But now I'm realizing that I left my pants downstairs and my wallet's down there, and I'm not down there. Next thing that happens is, so we're up there and they're just talking about like getting a car, and I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna drive me home. Cool. No, they wanted a car so that they could go meet someone and buy drugs. That's what they wanted. They're obsessed with whatever drugs they're doing, and they gotta go and get it because this guy is only gonna meet them there at this specific time, and yada yada, and they gotta get it now. And somebody took the car that he'd already borrowed over here, so now he has to get a different car, borrow someone else's car. Which everything is just sounding like so messed up. I'm just like, yeah, what the hell did I get myself into? What did I seriously get myself into? And so they're trying to ask me, they're like, can you get a ride from someone? And I'm thinking to myself, I've been trying to get a ride from somebody ever since you left. If I could have, I would have been gone by now. But I can't, and so they're gonna drive me. And meanwhile, the whole time, they're calling me like a woman, and I was identifying as a trans man. And this person who is a trans woman is sitting there just like, doesn't give a fuck at all. They didn't stand up for me at all. And I found that pretty revolting. That, like, oh, so I can just be insulted in front of you, who is apparently going through the same thing as me, and you don't even care. That's how heartless this person was. So, realizing that I'm around a bunch of horrible, awful people, I'm just like, please, can we just go? Eventually, he finally gets to borrow a car from somebody, and they drive me out, and they're asking me where I live, and I'm like, I'm not telling them. I refuse to tell them. I just want them to drop me off somewhere near where I live. But they're getting fed up with it. They're not happy about it, and they end up just ditching me at some random gas station at 3 a.m. And so that's how I got ditched at a gas station at 3 a.m. on my 21st birthday. It was a wonderful birthday. I had one last person I could call. One. I suck it up and I call my brother. I called him while I was still in the car with the people, and he could hear them talking in the background and could tell I was in a really bad situation. But anyways, I called him, and thankfully he answered. I was so thankful. I knew he had to work the next day. I didn't expect him to still be awake. But he knew I was getting myself into a pickle, and he must have stayed up waiting, knowing that this was going to happen. And so he can tell, like, I'm afraid. I'm not the kind of person who's usually afraid of things, so that was probably pretty alarming to him. And then when we, after being at the gas station for a little bit, my brother shows up. Doesn't ask me anything, doesn't say anything. Just takes me to his apartment with his girlfriend, roommate, and a bunch of cats that piss all over the place. So it wasn't really the most enjoyable. Oh, and I think it was his ex-girlfriend at this point. At this point, him and his girlfriend had broken up. And so he was sleeping in the spare bedroom. But anyways, so there I was, like, okay, this is what happens when you try to avoid your emotions. Life slaps you in the face hard until you finally face them. And so here I am in this cat piss smelling place on the couch in the living room, thinking about how I have no friends, no real friends, no one in my life who really cares about me, aside from family who is there for me at the very least. And I'm just in shock. I'm going through too many emotions that I can't even, like, face it all. Like, I'm just in utter shock. And I feel sick. I feel just horrible and disgusted with myself and everything that's been happening. And I'm not gonna lie, I blame myself a lot for what happened. Because I put myself in that situation. I'm the one who asked for that to happen. I didn't know that something that bad was gonna happen, but yeah, there was a lot of lessons in this to learn. Was one, do not trust people online. You could get picked up by anyone. I could have been murdered, frankly. I could have been abused in a lot worse ways. Getting ditched at a gas station at 3 a.m., having someone attempt to get me addicted to drugs but not succeed, having condom sex with a man who I didn't want to have sex with for literally a minute. All of these things could have been so much worse. And that's what I was realizing is I put myself in a really bad situation. And so because of this, I stopped drinking ever. I just completely stopped drinking alcohol. I tell people, I'm like, yeah, my 21st birthday was enough for me. I don't need to drink anymore. And I mean it. I've watched girls have all kinds of shit happen to them because they were drunk in public places. And I'm like, look, at some point you need to learn your lesson here. That putting yourself in a vulnerable state when you're out in public is a bad idea. You want to go and party, you want to go to clubs and drink, you're going to have stuff happen to you. Like you were asking for trouble to happen. It might sound like fun, it might sound like a good idea, but when you wake up in a nasty situation, you're going to wish that you had thought about things ahead of time. You're going to wish that you hadn't taken those drinks. And so I've learned my lesson now. I don't drink alcohol anymore. Period. I don't get high in public either. In fact, I don't really get high anymore either. And so that was a huge lesson. Another huge lesson is I don't want to be spending time with people who don't care about my well-being, who wouldn't be there for me when I absolutely need it. If people are only there to have a good time with me from occasion when they're just feeling lonely, they're not a friend. That person's just using you. People were just using me. And I realized, like, I would rather be alone, completely alone, have zero friends, than have people who are just there for face value. People who just care about having a good time occasionally. Those aren't friends. They're not. If they wouldn't die for you, they're not a real friend.